Okay, so everything is ready. Welcome everyone to this session on how to overcome fear to live the life you truly desire. I'm going to be sharing some ideas today, some tools that I use as part of my therapy practice, and it's going to be an experiential session. So we're going to be doing some self-reflection, some breathing to get into a relaxed, meditative, healing zone. We're going to be doing some tapping or emotional freedom technique. If anyone is not familiar with tapping, don't worry, because I'm going to explain everything step by step. And hi, Bodil. Oh, happy to have you here as well. Welcome everyone. I see more people joining. So yeah, the reason why I decided to choose this topic again is because it's such an important one. You know, life flows when we are aligned, right? And by aligned, I mean with who we truly are. You've probably noticed that when you feel like you're connected with yourself and you're letting go of what is no longer serving you, when you're letting go of who you are not, the programming, the conditioning, and you feel empowered, you feel like you don't have any baggage holding you back, things flow. Now, I'm not saying that I've got to the point where I don't have any baggage whatsoever left. I don't know if anyone has ever reached that point. But yeah, the idea is that when the more you liberate yourself from the baggage, from the old stories, the old self-narrative, the programming, the conditioning, is when you feel that life flows, doesn't it? And let me know if you have experienced this. But when we are very focused on when there is something, whether that's fear, another intense emotion, anger, resentment, bitterness, sadness, guilt, you know, when we carry this and we don't process that properly, then it feels heavy. Even the body can feel heavy, right? That type of emotion, that type of energy feels heavy. And life just doesn't flow. It doesn't matter how many goals you set. It doesn't matter how many manifestation techniques you follow. It feels like you've hit like you're hitting a wall there, right? And one of the main things that holds us back is fear. One of the main emotions, of one of the main experiences that can hold us back is fear. So that's what we're going to be exploring in this session. And I'm sure a lot of people who come here have done a lot of healing already, and you're probably in a wonderful journey of personal growth, healing, and transformation. And I would love to hear your insights, by the way. But I don't know if you've noticed that sometimes there is something that still gets triggered, right? So today, if you're a newbie to personal growth, to healing, this session is going to be useful for you. If you've done tons of personal development and tried different therapies and read lots of different books, it's also going to be useful because we're going to be uncovering like the deepest fears. We're going to be really going to the root of any fear, any blocks that might be stopping you from creating the life you truly want to live. And at the end of the day, what I've come to understand after years of trying many different modalities, therapies, healing modalities, is that it's not so much about what we do, but our state of being. So sometimes it's not about setting more goals. It's not about having more discipline. It's not about trying more meditations. It's not about doing and trying to manifest it, or or chasing it. The key is our state of being. And when our state of being is aligned with who we truly are, like I was saying at the beginning, and when we liberate ourselves from any conditioning, any programming, anything that is not our true self, anything that is not our essence, that's when life flows. So sometimes we try too hard setting goals and with vision boards and with all these things. And there is a place for it. They can be useful, and I will be mentioning some things about it in a minute. But the key is your state of being. And when your state of being, when you are free from who you are not, when you are free from the baggage, when you are free from the old stories, the conditioning, then everything flows, because you become your true self. And when you become your true self and you let go of limiting beliefs, when you let go of the negative self-talk, then you can start believing in yourself. You can start loving yourself. You can start accepting yourself and not judging yourself. And that's when magic happens. That's when magic happens, because when we are in a place of, when we're holding on to fear, resentment, anger, sadness, that's heavy. It's going to hold us back. If we have any beliefs about ourselves that encourage us, or that repeat or that send the message, you are not enough, you can't do it, this is never going to be possible for you, no way, keep dreaming, then that's what we create. That's what we confirm, and that's what we experience. So what I want to share with you today is ways to get to the root of the fears, because any limiting belief or any negative self-talk, any negative thought that might come to your awareness, the root of it is always fear. That's why it's limiting, because we made that decision based on fear. And this very often happens at a very early age. So very likely you're not going to remember it. And this happens very often just in an unconscious way. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are developing those beliefs. But something that is a belief that is limiting is always, always, always associated with some form of fear. And when we make decisions out of fear, is when we keep ourselves small, is when the decisions we make are not in our highest interest, is when we are not aligned with our true self. It doesn't come from a place of love, of power. So they are strongly associated. So we're gonna start with one exercise, actually. Just catching up with the comments. Hi, Samit and Kelly, welcome everyone, and everyone who has joined in the last few minutes. So we're going to start with one exercise, and there are probably some things coming to you already. Maybe you're thinking about, yeah, I know very well my main fear. My main fear is that I'm going to end up alone. My main fear is that I'm going to be judged, that I'm going to be criticized, that I'm going to feel like a bad person. You know, there is always a level that we are aware of. But very, very, very often, the key ones is the ones that we are not even aware of yet, or the deep lie in the, the lie deep in the subconscious mind. And that's what we're going to be exploring today. So if something is coming up for you already, feel free to make some notes. And also we're going to release that with the tapping at the end. So bear with me throughout the session. If you start to feel uncomfortable, if you feel triggered, if something comes up for you, just write it down, and we're going to release it energetically at the end of the session. You're going to feel much better. So yeah, I want this session to be empowering. It's not about focusing too much on, oh, I'm scared of this because I had this experience in the past, and then I'm conditioned by it, or then I'm condemned to whatever, or, you know, I'm never gonna overcome it. If anything, is the opposite. I want this session to be empowering, and the main message that I would like you to take from it is that no matter where you are right now, and no matter what you have experienced in your past, you can change, you can heal it, you can overcome it. It is totally possible. Many people have done it. I've helped many people do it. I've worked with people with really deep trauma, and there is a way. out of it. So when I know very often, if you come to my sessions before, very often you hear me talking about past conditioning and programming and how we are exposed to that and how we all develop, but not from a negative point of view. I think, oh, what can we do? This is what we were exposed to. So now we'll have to just suck it up and suffer whatever life wants to throw at us. No, it's from a very empowering point of view. I think we have the tools, we're going to do this together, and healing and change is possible no matter what your starting point is. So starting the exercise, what I'm going to first ask you to do is I would like you to create or to imagine or to visualize a life that feels authentic for you, a life that feels full of joy, full of love, full of happiness. And we're not thinking about this stage, if it's possible, if it's not possible, if it's going to ever happen for you, just your big vision. So bring to your awareness your big, big, big vision. And that might be starting your own business. That might be having that wonderful relationship and meeting a wonderful partner. That might be starting a family, might be traveling the world for some time because you're worth it for no reason. It could be anything that you can think of that will really light up your life, that will spark your heart. And try to connect with it if you can. Close your eyes. You might not be getting many images or visuals, but maybe you feel it in the body. Maybe it's more of a sensation, and that's fine. We're all different and we perceive things in a different way. And really, really, really step into that vision, like it were happening already. That big, big, big vision. Be bold. And now pay attention to how the body reacts to this. If there is any parts of the body that suddenly contract, very often it's the solar plexus or the stomach, maybe the heart, the throat. Any fear that is coming to your awareness, any fear that might be starting to become present in the body. You can take notes if that feels right, by the way. If any interesting insights are coming up for you. And once you start to identify any discomfort or any parts of yourself that are like, not sure about that vision, not quite sure about that, I want to ask that part of your body or that part of yourself or that fear in whatever format you're feeling it present. What is the worst thing that could happen? If I started taking actions to take me towards that vision, towards those goals, if that actually happened, what's the worst that could happen? What negative outcomes you might experience from that vision? This might be a bit of a contradiction. Part of you might be feeling, I really want it, it feels really good. Then part of you might be, not so sure about that. Allow those parts of yourself, that fear, allow them to speak. What's the worst that could happen? What could go wrong? And can you give words to describe that fear? If it's in the body, how is that present? Is that a black energy blocking the throat? Is that a red ball of anger um, or fear in the stomach? Is it an electric sensation down the spine? I don't know. Just become aware of it. Any colors that come to mind, any shapes, any qualities of that energy. And bring the awareness to it. Bear with me. I know this might be uncomfortable. I'm going to invite you to ask yourself, when have you experienced this fear before? When has this same energy, shape, color, qualities being present in your life before? When have you had experienced it before? Is it fairly new? Is it very old? Is it taking you to a place to a very early age, for example? No judgment here. We are exploring and just becoming aware of what's going on. But try to track it back. See how old it is. See how long it's been with you for. Beautiful. So we're going to take a small break here. I'm going to invite you to open your eyes and maybe make some notes if you have pen and paper handy. Take some time for self-reflection, see what came up for you. If you want to share it in the comments, I will be delighted to hear it. And I'm sure a lot of people will have similar ideas in terms of like maybe shapes, colors, or sensations, or where that takes you back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to release it energetically, because obviously we've been bringing awareness to this, and this is probably feeling uncomfortable and not pleasant, let's say. So instead of trying to rationalize or thinking about why it's there, which can be very useful in terms of understanding our patterns and getting to know ourselves, but at the end of the day, you can become a master of your problems, talking about it again and again, and rationalizing and looking at it from different angles. But it's when you release it from the body, it's when you let it go, when you process it, when it's resolved, that healing really happens, and then transformation really happens, and then you can start experiencing different ways of feeling, thinking, and behaving. So we're going to do that in a second. Jay saying, wow, even the worst isn't that bad. That's the thing, that sometimes we have this deep fear or this anxiety that you don't even know why it's there, or what is it trying to do. And then when you track it, when you ask yourself, okay, but what's the worst that could, if I take this step, what's the worst that could happen? It's like, well, actually, it's not that bad. Or I will have a backup plan. There will be a way to solve it. And that immediately brings the intensity down. Breaking the chest, but thought it would be worse. Yeah, so maybe because of that realization that, well, it could be worse, it's not that bad after all. Then there is something lingering there, but it's not so intense. That intensity has come down. Rosalind is saying sensation of freeze paralysis as a child when that enters space. Yeah, so very often that would take us to a point in time at an early age. And that root fear is kind of the like the basis or the core of all the other fears, all the other beliefs around, all the other negative behaviors or the negative self-narrative or thoughts around, right? But sometimes when we track it back to the core of it, once you resolve it, then it's like the other ones don't have a place to stand on and kind of dissolve in that, if that makes sense. So it's really great that and very often, very often, any deep core limiting belief that you might have been battling for years, but it's persistent and you need to do more healing, very often it comes or the decision was made at a very early age, very often. Jessica's asking, is it weird if my worst fear has never happened to me and I'm still very scared about it? Yeah, of course. And the thing is that the fact that we fear something doesn't mean that we have experienced that fear in particular of that particular event. So for example, let me explain it in a better way because I'm making it sound very complicated. So I was in the corporate world for many years until I decided to train as a coach and therapist and healer and start my own business. And I had to fight my mindset so much to make that happen. And I felt that the worst fear I had was, well, first of all, ending up homeless and living under a bridge. That was my worst fear. And that's what I thought that was going to happen if I dare to quit my corporate job. But I had never experienced scarcity. I had never experienced being poor. So it's not something that I had experienced before. But when I started to track that fear and that sensation of losing something, the original fear or the original root of it was more about fear of disappointing my family, fear of letting someone down, feeling of fear of how can I describe it? What's the word I want to use to describe it? Of having made the wrong decision or being just abandoned. So the actual, what I thought was my fear of the worst thing that could happen, which was end up being homeless, I had never experienced that fear before. But it was just the root of it was something different, and what was being triggered was something different and deeper. So yeah, so sometimes it could be that the fear is very familiar and it's there already, like rejection. Fear of rejection is a very common one, and sometimes we have experienced that rejection before, and that's why we're scared of it, because it bloody hurts and we don't want to go through it again. So it could be that it's you're scared of something because you have experienced before and it's unpleasant, it's painful, and it's the natural way to protect yourself. Or it could be the belief or the decision at the root of it is something slightly different, kind of like masquerade in a different way, if that makes sense. Julie saying, there was a knot in my throat. As a young child, I was not believed. Oh, I recently quit my corporate job too. Congrats. Yeah, so all those beliefs that are coming up, and all those experiences, I'm going to teach you a technique that I use a lot that is called tapping, or emotional freedom technique. Some of you who come to my sessions are very familiar with it. So we're going to do a follow along different rounds of that. For the ones who have never, and let me know, guys, let me know if you have experienced it before, if you like if it's completely new to you, if you had never heard of it. But for the ones of you who had never heard of it, is basically based on the idea that we tap on different points of the face and the body. And it's similar to acupuncture, when the practitioner will put needles on the energy meridians. Every time that there is fear, that there is stress, that there is trauma, a negative experience, the flow of energy gets disturbed, gets disrupted, right? And that can create blocks. And that's why very often when we connect with the fear or with a certain emotion that feels heavy, that you know is holding you back, very often we really feel it in the body. And maybe some of you struggle to that. Maybe you have struggled to connect with that, but I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, were able to locate it somewhere in the body, to place it somewhere in the body, or to give it a shape, or to give it a quality to that energy. And that's what happens, that the energy flow gets disrupted. If we don't process it, if we don't resolve it, it stays there. So what we're going to do is we're going to be tapping on certain points of the body that is connected, or that are connected to the different meridians in the body. And we're gonna tap on those points as we say whatever we want to clear. The fear, any beliefs, any experiences that might have come up for you. And because we are focusing on that, and we are putting our awareness on what we want to clear, it's like sending a message to the body. It's like saying, hey, energy body, energy system, this is what we need to clear. Okay, it's the fear, right? Okay, the fear, let it come out of the body, fear. And then the energy goes back to flowing naturally. And what happens is that when we release this at an energetic level, sometimes you don't even need to rationalize it. You don't even need to understand what happens. You just feel the body feels lighter. It feels like a big release, like something like sometimes it feels like a big, like when you're carrying something really heavy on the shoulders and suddenly you take it off and it's like, that sense of release. So that's something that you might experience. And then what you might notice is that as a result of that energetic change, you start feeling in a different way, you start behaving in a different way, you start thinking in a different way. So let's start, and so you can experience it firsthand. Okay, Debbie never tapped before, but very curious. So we're gonna get started in a second. Superstar is asking, will this be in your YouTube later? I'm recording it, so yeah, I'm planning to upload it. Yeah, I'm planning to upload this session. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's get tapping there. So this time, normally, this is something I do in my one-on-one sessions. So obviously, if I were working with one of you, for example, we would be working really deeply into whatever came up for you, and we will be using the specific words that are coming up for you. So here some people mention a brick in the heart, a knot in my throat, a sensation of freeze, paralysis. So we would be really focusing on those specific words. The more specific you can get, the more effective it is. And then we will be trying to get to the very root of it, to the very origin of it. And if it's a memory, like someone said, yeah, was that entering the place, like that felt like that sense of freeze, then we will be going over that thing and everything that any associated sensations or memories, and describe it to clear it. Here obviously I can't do a personalized one for everyone, so I'm going to be saying general statements about fear, about common limiting beliefs, but I'm also going to give space so you use your own words. And here is when you're going to feel when you've hit something big, right? So we're going to do a few rounds of releasing. We're also going to do a few rounds of positive statements. So the points that we're going to be tapping on, side of the hand. So tapping is very gentle. If you're hearing a sound, I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone, but if you're hearing a sound, you're hitting too hard. And that can be also disruptive for the energy system. So it's very subtle. It's just an invitation for the energy to flow and for anything that needs to be released to come out. And the other one is the top of the head. So the center of the head and in line with the ears. So it will be something around here. It's not the center of the head, it's a bit further back. And again, you can tap with various fingers around it to make sure you hit the point. The next one is going to be the beginning of the eyebrow. For this one, you might want to use one finger, use two hands, crossover. Doesn't matter which side you use. If you do both hands, doesn't make a difference. The other one is the end of the eyebrow, this kind of like socket indentation here. And then we're going to move to under the eye, in line with the center of the eye. This kind of like bony part right before the cheek, the flesh starts right here. Again, you can do one finger, you can do various, change around, whatever feels right. Under the nose, under the bottom lip, and right up between the chin and the bottom lip. Sometimes I make this funny face to make sure I can reach that point. Then we have another point that is here. So if this is the beginning of the collarbone, if you go down kind of like an inch until you will feel, if you do this movement from the collarbone point, you will feel that there is a spot that feels sore, and there is kind of like an indentation. If you do this, you might feel it even better because it's like a fleshy spot between the collarbone and the rib cage, where the rib cage starts. So those two, I like to do this one with both hands. Don't ask me why, personal preference, but again, you can do one, cross around. And the last one is the side of the body, in line with the nipples. If you're wearing a bra, where the bra strap will be, and the side of the body. And again, yeah, I like to use like all of the fingers to make sure I'm covering the points. And that will be one round. And then we're going to repeat we're going to do a few rounds, again, to release fear, all the emotions, all the stuff, whatever has come up for you during the exercise. And then we're going to do some positive affirmations. So we always start with the side of the hand and a setup statement, which starts with, even though whatever you want to release, even though I'm scared, even though I have this fear, even though I have this red ball of anger in the stomach, I love and I accept myself. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. If you don't feel comfortable saying I love myself or I deeply and completely love and accept myself, you can say another acceptance statement like everything's going to be okay. I'm okay. If that doesn't feel right, because some people don't feel 100% comfortable, or they feel that they don't believe it, and then they start questioning if it's going to work. So entirely up to you. So we're going to start focusing on the fears. So even though, and I would like you now to just copy the spots where I'm tapping and repeat the affirmations or the statements out loud. Okay. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I feel scared, I love and accept myself. And even though I have this, describe the sensation in the body, I love and accept myself. So even though I have this break in my heart or this knot in my throat, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And now we're going to go through all the different points. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of letting everyone down, the fear of being judged, the fear of ending up alone, The fear of being abandoned. The fear of being attacked. The fear of not belonging. All these fears. All the fear. All the fear. This fear. These fears. This fear in my body. Now we're going to start another round, but this time I'm going to invite you to use your own words, to be very specific about whatever fear has come up for you today, or any past experience or memories, or the energetic sensation in the body. So we're just going to do a few rounds, going through all the points, but use your own words, be as specific as you can. That might sound like that word, rejection, rejection, and you might just want to repeat that, rejection. Or it might be a longer description, like the day that all the kids laughed at me at school. It was horrible. I felt I didn't belong in there. Whatever is coming up. One more round. Again, using your own words, be as specific as you can. Beautiful. So finish this round at your own pace. And we're going to take a break here. We're going to do some breathing now to just allow the body to do what it needs to do. Or you can continue tapping if that feels right, like you feel like you're getting momentum and it feels good and you need a bit more, feel free to do so if you need to. But if you feel like you're ready to move on and take a break before we move into the more positive statements, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, maybe a few times if that feels right, letting go a deep exhalation. Raising up the shoulders with the inhalation and letting them drop with the exhale. Let's do that again a couple more times. Inhaling, lift the shoulders. And let them drop with the exhalation. One more, inhaling and lifting the shoulders up. Letting all that tension go with the exhale. And just bringing the awareness to the breath now, letting it do what it naturally wants to do, but giving it space so the breath becomes deeper and longer, as deep and as long as it likes to be, as it would like it to be. So we're not going to force anything here. We're not going to do any counts. We're not going to try to impose any patterns on our breath. We're just going to give the body space for the breath to be as deep and as long as it possibly can be. Allowing the muscles of the chest, the belly to move freely with each breath, expanding with each inhalation, contracting with each exhalation, letting the body move freely. Allowing more air to come in with each inhalation, more fresh air, more fresh energy coming into the body with each inhalation. And letting go of those energies that we have been trying to release with the tapping with each exhalation, letting it all out, letting it all go. And letting the body process and do what it needs to do. The body is wise. Let it do what it needs to do. You might have noticed that during the tapping, or maybe now, that you are relaxing a bit more. Maybe you start yawning a few times in a row. Maybe you suddenly feel like coughing or shaking it off. Any movements in the body, also allow that. If there are any movements that feel right in the body, like shaking it off, moving the head, rolling the spine, listen to your body, give it what it needs. There might have been some tears, sometimes laughter, and that's all normal and part of the energetic release. Just allow it to happen. Just let it happen. Beautiful. And I'm going to invite you to bring that big vision from the beginning to your awareness, connecting with it for a few moments here. And see how the body reacts to it now. If it feels a bit more empowered about it, if the fear is still there, or maybe less intense, or if it has gone completely. Maybe something new is coming up. There is no right or wrong, by the way. We all process things at a different speed and in a different way. So sometimes it happens that the intensity comes down after we do some rounds of tapping, but sometimes it stays the same because it needs a bit longer. And sometimes it could even be that the intensity feels a bit higher because we're tuning into something that is old and that needs to be processed. So sometimes it feels more intense before it can be finally released and it can be processed. So there is no right or wrong. If you feel that the fear or whatever came up for you still there, or the intensity has gone up, I'm going to invite you to continue doing some more rounds of tapping until you feel the intensity going down. If you're ready to move on, we're gonna wrap up with some rounds of tapping, but this time with positive statements and positive affirmations. Again, we're gonna do a couple of rounds of general affirmations that work for a lot of people, but after that, I'm also going to invite you to be as specific as possible and say the ones that resonate with you. If you want to put something in the chat, by the way, any ideas, I'm sure that people will appreciate that. And there are a lot of people in the same journey. And sometimes one of the beliefs or one of your positive affirmations, sometimes someone will go, oh, I hadn't thought about that one, but I could definitely bring that one. So So we're going to start tapping. Open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. We're going to start tapping again on the side of the hand. This is very healing. Oh, thank you, Summerstar. I'm glad you're feeling that. Awesome. So on the side of the hand, and we're going to start tapping here. Even though I have this fear, or I had this fear, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. The fear is going, or it's gone. I'm ready to release it. I'm ready to let it go. I don't need it anymore. I free myself from my deepest fears. I decide to step into my power. I am confident. I believe in myself. I believe in my potential. And that I can achieve anything. I deserve a joyful life. I am worthy of joy and love. I deserve it all. I feel empowered. I feel confident. I'm making my dream life happen. I deserve it. It is possible for me. It is safe for me to live this life. I trust my intuition. I know how to make decisions that are in my highest interest. I know how to set healthy boundaries. My decisions come from a place of love and power. My heart is open to receive love. My life just gets better and better each day. I love my life. I am so grateful for everything I have. My life keeps improving every day. I am brave. I am loved. I love myself. I am more than enough. And whatever I am in my journey, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So now I'm going to invite you to do a couple of rounds using your own words, any positive beliefs, statements, positive emotions that resonate with you. Make it personal, make it specific. We're going to do a couple more rounds, so make them count. Final round, take a deep breath and really make it count. being very intentional with every word. Beautiful. So that was the last round. I'm going to invite you again to take a break, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and bring in the awareness back to the breath. Again, not trying to force anything or to change anything, but just allowing the body to process the energetic changes. Allowing the inhalations and exhalations to become as deep and long as they would like to be. Beautiful. Opening your eyes. If you want to remain in this kind of relaxed, meditative state, that's perfectly fine. Or you can open your eyes, join me in the screen. We're going to wrap up the session in a minute. I'm just going to share a bit of a summary and next sessions, etc. So yeah, so if you want to also spend some time journaling now, making some notes, feel free to do so. Oh, Ellie saying, thank you for this. It was just what I needed. Oh, I'm so glad you landed here then. Thank you for your beautiful words. So yeah, I would love to hear you from you guys, see how that experience went, anything that you would like to share with the group to inspire all the beautiful souls here. Oh, that was really powerful. I really appreciate you in this session. I appreciate you, Julie, for being here and your beautiful words. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jules, for your generous donation. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, and for being here. Thank you, guys. Beautiful session. Thank you very much. Really helped. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Ooh, many tears and moved a lot of emotions. I feel much light, inspired, and better. Amazing, amazing. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of a taster, and in a group setting, and in this setting in particular, when I'm delivering a workshop like this, and we're not even in person, you know, to exchange more ideas, more insights. That's a bit of a generic, you know, generic statements and things we can do. But yeah, but the power of this, if you use it, you know, if you really spend some time on self-reflection, identifying what's coming up for you, it's really, really powerful. So this is something, now that you know the points, that's it, you've learned it. So you can use it as part of your morning routine or before going to bed. If anytime you feel stressed or anxious, even though I'm feeling this, whatever is coming up for you, blah, 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 and until you feel the intensity going down. And it's really, really powerful. Obviously, on a one-on-one session, we will be exploring and coming to the root of it. But you've seen that even in this setting, you already felt some release. I'm seeing more comments here. Is it important which hand you use in tapping? Does it matter if you switch them? No, it doesn't. I normally use the right hand because I'm right-handed, but sometimes if I'm doing quite a few rounds, I will start using the left hand. This point, for example, I'd like to do both. These ones I tend to do just one hand because otherwise I feel like it's a bit cramped there. So no, listen to your body, if whatever feels right. And if you feel like staying longer in one of the points, also feel free to do so and listen to your body. I will use the replay for sure. Thanks. Do you still have podcast and loading this there too? No, I've abandoned the podcast, and ever since I got pregnant, I'm reducing like all the social media, you know, all that activity. So I still upload videos to YouTube. That's where I like these sessions, if I record them, will be uploaded. And yeah, and also the best way, if you want to have a look at my profile, to know more about these disciplines, you can sign up for the list, for my email list, and that's the best way to be in touch. But yeah, YouTube is the main one I'm using now. Oh, tears of joy. Thank you for your time and help. Yeah, so a lot of release there. Thank you for being here and your beautiful works. Judy's asking, do you work with people who are neurodivergent and slightly delayed? Yeah, I've had a few clients with ADHD and yeah, in that spectrum, and it can be very useful because it brings the energy to the body and just releasing that rather than rationalizing it and trying to figure out what's going on. So yeah, that would definitely work. Yeah, just saying too, and tapping is so helpful. Brenda saying, first time here, perfect topic. I had a heart attack on August of, oh my love, sorry about that. I've experienced fear and anxiety since then. I've used EFT tapping prior. Thank you for the practice. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, sometimes when those emotions are there, like not processed, the body can react in so many ways. I'm glad you're back, and again, congrats for your baby on the way. Yeah, thank you so much, my love. I also added tapping on the heart center. Do you ever tap on the heart too? Not particularly. Sometimes what I do is there is a point here. I can't remember the name of the point because yeah, I don't remember all the name of the points. That's something very complicated, and I'm not training Chinese medicine, but I know there is a point here around the sternum that is used for relaxation in acupressure, for example. So yeah, if it feels right to tap in there, tapping there. I normally stick to the points that are already part of the sequence, but yeah, feel free to use any other points that feel right for you. Listen to the body. Sometimes tapping doesn't feel right for some people, and they prefer just to hold or to apply some gentle pressure. So also if that yeah, well, I'm taking a social media break basically because I don't have time, and yeah, so I'm oh, your mandala behind you is so pretty. Which one? This one? That's a drum actually, for my yeah, that's the drum. That's a drum for my shamanic journeys. And yeah, I used it a lot when I was doing my shamanic training. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for following me, for your reviews, for your positive words, your positive feedback. It means the world to me. Thank you for the generous donations. They're very much appreciated. And yeah, give me a lot of energy and motivation to keep going. Like I said, feel free to check out my profile if you want to know more about what I do, and if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, now is the time, because I'm going to be on maternity leave most of next year. Starting, yeah, I'll be looking at wrapping up things around late February because I'm doing early March. So yeah, so the clients that I'm going to be onboarding, yeah, and around October, November will be the last ones, because I'm not going to have time to do my proper 3-month healing coaching program, which is the one I do. And also, if you have any questions or you're facing any challenges in particular, feel free to drop me a message. I'm always happy to hear from you and point you to some specific resources. I have loads uploaded here on Insight Timer, lots of videos. So yeah, let me know and I will point you in the right direction. And I think I haven't scheduled any sessions for next week, any other of these Insight Timer live sessions, but I will probably arrange one for next Thursday at the same time. So make sure that you give me a follow so you can be notified of live events, more content, and the courses. Oh, I forgot about the courses. If you enjoyed this session, I have 3 courses where I go a bit more in depth. The main one is Step into Your Power with Confidence and Joy. So it's about building that vision, identifying resistance and blocks, and then how to resolve them and transform them into wisdom. I have another one on the topic of relationships and another one on self-love, because it's such an important topic. So feel free to check those out. They're here on Insight Timer. Oh, thank you, Rosalind. Your delivery is clear and easy to receive. Muchas gracias a ti. Thank you so much. Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I can go on a rant So you know, when people make like these super effective like 3-minute long videos on YouTube and they share everything they want to share in there, I'm like, how did they do it? So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I try. Oh, the explanation of the tapping spots. Oh, thank you Samasta. Thank you. So thank you everyone for being here. Like I said, keep in touch. I'll see you around, and feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to hear from you. And sending much love and light to you all, and wishing you, wherever you are in the world, a lovely day. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bodil. Good and empowering. Thank you everyone, and much love to you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.